somewhere in this desk, Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin. Welcome. We're going to pretend it's Thursday, February 19th at 11:59 p.m., give or take 6 minutes, okay? Let me get my devices set up so I can make sure we've got sound and to see if anyone is joining me. Yes, we have sound. That's a good thing. Perfect. Let me get my other one set up. And I do not know exactly what we're going to make today. I know that comes as a big surprise. But that's the way we roll here. All right, so my picture's elongated again. I don't know why sometimes it does that and sometimes it doesn't. I just don't get it. Hello, Allie. I'm all right. How are you? I imagine you'll be going to Dallas relatively soon. How are all those arrangements coming along? I know it's not a fun time. I'm glad you're here. Take a few minutes to get distracted, right? Well, I'm going to try to whiz through some of my announcements and we'll get going. I don't know what we're going to play with tonight. We'll see. So next Saturday, the 28th. Okay. Now, are you involved in any of the arrangements or does, okay, that's when the service is. Is there other family there that's taking care of the arrangements or are you responsible for some of that? Not that it's any of my business, but I care. So let's whiz through some of these. If you are not a demonstrator or associated with a demonstrator, or if you're new to Stampin' Up, I'd love for you to check me out. You can find all of my Stampin' Up things at latenightlori.stampinup.net. And we currently have free shipping on qualifying orders. Hello, Rosa. Hello, Yuta. So we've got free shipping. It goes through Friday, midnight Mountain Time. All right. So I think that means I have it until 1 a.m. Saturday morning. So check your orders. Check what things you need. It's not just things you want. It's things you need. We all need it. This is our therapy, right? If you've got bonus day coupons that you earned in January, make sure you burn them by the end of February. That's important. And if you have not already joined, if you're not already a demonstrator, a community coach, a kidnapper, or whatever else you want to call yourself, a hobby demo, consider joining. It's a great deal. There's a lot of great benefits. I've talked about it before, but right now you can get this Stampin' Positioner, this new Stampin' Positioner for free, and that is a $50 value. So keep that in mind. And with that, let's move on. So last night we were talking about these things, whatever they called them, because we were playing with the old Big Shot just a little bit because Rosa, I don't know, did you have that question? I don't remember who had the question last night, but we worked it out, played around with it a little bit, one of the older ones. Oh, that's going to be very nice. I love flute. Piano's good too. My son plays French horn. So he does a lot of weddings and funerals and church services and stuff. So music is so soothing sometimes. I'm not into the headbanger, can't understand rap stuff. I like more of the classical traditional stuff. So that sounds like it's going to be very nice. All right, so last night we took a look at this, and I made the comment that I had one, but I had never used it. So whoever was familiar with these suggested that I put this in the machine. This is basically the platform, but that I need the cutting plates. So I did that, and I don't know if I did it right, but I had a cutting plate here and a cutting plate here, and I put my paper there, and it cut like a dream. Who knew? I had no idea. I mean, I had an idea, but I had never used it. So, I mean, it worked really cool. This is supposed to make some kind of 3D ornament. That's what it's called. Ornament circle 3D. So I'm not sure what we do with this. And I don't know how many circles you need. Sweet Carolina. Oh, Allie, you're the one that told me how. See, my memory's good. It's just short. Yes, they cut boxboard. So you mean like the chipboard stuff? I don't know how thick that would cut. So I don't know how many of these I need either. And how, probably a few, huh? 1, 2, probably have to run it a few times. I may just glue those together just for kicks. Just for nostalgia. All right, on to real things, because this was just, that was just to make my promise from yesterday when I said I was going to play with it a little bit. I played with it a little bit, all right? So the other thing we talked about last night was this embossing folder. Yeah, I figured it's a ball because it says it's a circle, but I'm going to have to figure out how many I need because 4 is not enough to make the circle. It doesn't appear to be enough to make the circle anyway. So I'll figure it out. Oh, the seams are, yeah, the seams are on the outside, so the flaps would go in, right? I think that's how I had it. I mean, I originally went like something like this, but I'm thinking they'll go like this somehow. Looks like it'll be pretty big because I'll need 6 for the top and probably 6 for the bottom, right? Because that's 3, and it basically is going to make like half an ornament top, maybe. Does that sound right? Oh, so it goes like this. So I still need at least 6. Facing out, yes, okay. I suppose you could probably do it either way. I'll have to cut more and do it both ways. Because to make a circle now, I'd have to have at least 3 more. But that doesn't, oh yeah, that would make a circle. I don't know. Because 4 doesn't seem like enough. Is it just 4? You can go the name. Oh, yeah, I suppose I could do that, huh? I suppose maybe 4 would be enough. If it's just supposed to kind of look like a circle. Yeah, I suppose, huh? I'll play with it another time. I won't promise it'll be by tomorrow. But we were looking at this little guy yesterday. This all-in-a-row embossing folder. Oh, you'll need a lot? Okay. Good to know. It seemed like that would be kind of small. But I imagine more, if you have more circles and triangles, you would make bigger or smaller pieces. I doubt that it would be limited to a single size, right? I don't know. So we looked at this yesterday and we did a card. I don't know where I put it. I might have mailed it out to somebody already. No, I don't think I did mail it. Oh, here it is. I took a picture of it and I moved it. So we used the all in a row and we just made this little kind of fun fold. I got my envelope ready to go today, so I did accomplish a little something. But I thought that was quite pretty. Very, very simple. So yeah, this embossing folder is pretty fun. It's not a 3D folder. So basically you use your platform and I think no shim and just the cutting plates. I think that's what we did yesterday. Thank you, Yuta. So with this one, I thought, oh, I was getting all kinds of ideas yesterday, right? And I thought it would be fun to do some different things that you might not normally think of with the embossing folders. Like this has flat pieces in it too. So I thought, why not put some of our little Easter basket elements in the here? Okay. So I'm going to get, I don't know what color we should use. It kind of depends on what kind of paper we're going to use. And I thought we'd just do some little fun cut things too. Oh, and these were left over from yesterday too. I don't think we're going to use those. But what I thought I would do, when I talked about this yesterday, I was coming up with all kinds of things off the top of my head that, you know, you could make strips and just make like a panel card. You could just use this as a front. Or what came across my mind is if we cut this diagonally and made some strips, how do you think that would look? So if we go to like corner to corner, I don't know how this will look, but I was just kind of curious. So corner to corner and then like this corner so that we had a square here. And then I can use this straight edge to line up kind of my corners, I think. I think I need it over just a little bit more maybe. Because I want to go like across here. Because I want that flower. This flower one is in half, so this one would have to be in half. So I'm kind of looking like this. I guess maybe we go like that. That'll be pretty close maybe. I don't know, we'll see. That's pretty good. And then we could just cut these off. And make a cute little rectangle, but now it's on an angle instead of just straight. Isn't that kind of fun? I thought that was fun. And then you could even use these little triangles for stuff, I suppose. I don't know if I will, but you could. So let's just take a couple more of these. That could make kind of a fun element card. Let's hang on to these. We'll see. Sometimes you just don't know until you start cutting stuff, right? All right, and then let's just see. This is 5. So I kind of need this 3 3/4 to make a nice card layer if we're not going to cut strips, but we might cut strips. So we'll just cut that edge off of there. So that would make like just a cute little quilted kind of card. Let's move this out of the way for a second. So there's a few things we could do with this. So now that this is on an angle, we could add like one of our little chickies, and we could add an Easter egg, and we could alternate those. Or we could put eggs on one and Easter eggs on another. I don't know. Let's just, because when I was looking at it like this, the chicken was a little too tall for it. But when you do it like this, the chickie should fit. So let me go get, I think we'll do Secret C maybe? Excuse me. Secret C maybe, do you think? What color ink should we use? Or do we want something more Easter-ish? Like maybe Gorgeous Grape. Gorgeous Grape could work. We could make a little tag for like an Easter basket. So if we used one of these and just put a tag on it too, that could be kind of cute. Let's see. We've got, let's do something with this paper. Splash of Sparkles. Highland Heather. That would be good. Highland Heather is in this batch. Because I thought this would be fun too. Ooh, that's flashy, isn't it? Look at that. We could make some little note cards too. I thought this would be fun to just stamp some things in those too and just cut them out. So sometimes when I have no plan, it's not a good idea, right? I'm trying to see where I really like some Highland Heather, and that's on that one. Oh, that could be fun. Maybe we should cut this one down. What do you think? This piece? Let's see what colors are on the backs of some of these others. I might have missed them. I think we could do Highland Heather with this. I don't know what it'll look like. We'll see. This is kind of fun, isn't it? So let's do a couple things here. I'm going to cut this in half this way. So we have a 6-inch width. And then let me get a Highland Heather card base. I happen to have one cut. And then, let's see here. We'll cut it so that that Highland Heather piece is kind of like in the middle. So if we do like 2. That's pretty good for just guessing. And we'll decide how we want to cut that down in a minute. Maybe I should have gone that way. Let me get another piece. Let's do it this way and see how it looks. What do we want to do? Because that's 6 inches. If I wanted to go that way, we're just going to make this, I don't know, we're just going to cut a little bit off here. So we'll do it like 5.5. That's kind of in the middle-ish. 4 1/4. I'm just going to put that to 5 because we might decide to cut off more of the white. We'll see. Let's see if I have another Highland Heather base. Well, what do you know? Score once, cut once, you got 2 bases. I probably cut a bunch for a class and then didn't use them all. So we could do something like this, because I kind of like how that goes off to the side of the page. I don't know why I always get my tickle when I start the videos here. All right. So if we do this one like so. So let's play with this just a little bit. Now I saw a technique today during the virtual card class. I didn't get to watch the whole thing today because I also had another meeting at the same time, so I was kind of double booked. But what they did was they got a dauber inked up a little bit. I'm thinking I might need to re-ink that one. It's pretty dry. But then she just gently brushed over some of the embossing to give just the embossed parts some color. And I'm thinking you might be able to get the same effect using the brayer, but I didn't try it. I suppose we could try that. How fun is that? And I'm trying not to rub very hard because I don't want, like here, you can see some of the ink goes to the base of the cardstock as well, and I was trying to avoid that. But the dots are definitely darker. Let's zoom that in a little bit so you can maybe see it a little bit better. I thought that was kind of cute. So then let's do a little egg here. If we do something like this, if I put an egg, I think this will work. I'm going to put one egg here, and I'm going to put another egg here. And then we're going to take a scrap of white, and we're going to cut out a little chickadee. We're going to stamp it first, I guess. Maybe we'll do a few of them. And there should be a die for this. There is a die for the chick. Let's cut out our little chicks. And have you guys seen these? They're little spinners. And I thought I could try a little spinner here and see what happens. Oops, that moved anyway. So how was everybody's day? How was your weather? We actually had, I wasn't sure if it's going to lose our power if the generator would go on, because we had some pretty good cracks of thunder and flashes of lightning. It's pretty weird to have that kind of weather in February for us here in Wisconsin. So Allie, yeah, that's right. You did mention that you were using them. How did that work out for you? Was that fun? The head spins. Yeah, I figured our whole duck might, or our whole, yeah, duck. Chicken. It's a chick, not a duck, right? Oh, maybe that is a duck. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It can be whatever you want it to be, I suppose. It's probably an Easter chick. Rainy and windy still for you, Rosa, huh? How's your cold? And I'm guessing we'll just use glue dots for these. I didn't even open mine yet. Well, good to hear that, Rosa. All right, hold your thought. I got a little box elder bug walking around my floor here. Get rid of that little bugger. He was not invited to the party. All right, so I think I want to color this a little bit. So we could do bubble bath, and maybe is that azure afternoon, do you think? Yep, azure afternoon. I'm just going to use the lights. What do you think, those polka dots with the sponge dauber? I don't usually use sponge daubers. Very seldom do I use sponge daubers. I usually use the blending brushes because I feel like I have more control. I did not necessarily intend to do an Easter card tonight. It just seemed to flow. With this embossing folder. Not sure why. I'm just doing little dots on this one because these Highland Heather dots I don't want to have too muted with that azure afternoon. And then I think we need some more colors. Maybe we'll do dark Highland Heather. Maybe some more Daffodil Delight. So Rosa, you've got the blending brushes and you barely use them, huh? I use them a lot. I feel like I use them a lot. Now, I don't have to worry about the alcohol blends smearing the water-based ink because the opposites will not, oil and water basically don't mix, sort of thing. That's kind of fun. And I think I'm going to take this and make some little yellow centers on these flowers. And I'm using the bullet tip for this. And yeah, it's spreading in to kind of color those petals too, but I think that looks good. The longer you hold it, the more alcohol will seep in there and colorize more of the flower. I think I kind of got them all. Maybe a little bit of green, huh? You got your paper pumpkin kit 2 days ago already? I was one of those that was affected by their billing company error, and mine didn't bill and didn't bill. So I finally went in and just did it on my own and put my credit card information in there again. And it finally went through. Let's just do a little light green. This is Lemon Lime Twist, the light Lemon Lime Twist. Now this is definitely putsy. What do you think so far though? Does it look cute from your angle, from your vantage point? Looks kind of cute from mine. And I've done embossing folder coloring like this before, but usually by inking up the embossing folder, not by, oh, that was a flower I missed. It's going to be a leaf now. Not usually by coloring this stuff this way. Even that sunflower embossing folder, I use blending brushes. Then I need to make a little yellow. I think I got them all. There. I wish that screen wasn't elongated because it distorts our little eggs here. So now we need to do our little chicken. You already made 2 videos and 2 cards in each video. You make like 30, so you're one of those that maximizes everything with the paper pumpkin kits. That's fun. So I think we need a ribbon on here. And I think I like it this way better because it almost looks more egg-like. What do you think? Yeah, I can see where having the challenge of coming up with different things is fun. The one paper pumpkin kit that I had a lot of fun making alternatives with, and I've got it right here still, because I had some refills that I hadn't used yet, was this Daisy Daydream from last March. I loved this one. I made lots of alternatives with that one. So I think we're going to take and make this 5 1/4. I'm gonna take, I want some of the white there. Yeah, and the ones that don't really, the paper pumpkin kits that don't necessarily speak to me, then I do more alternatives with. And then I thought if I put a little chickie on a spinner, does that look silly? We can do something else with those pieces. That's pretty paper. Oh, I suppose I could back out a little bit, huh? Oh, I need to, oh, that'll work. I was gonna say I need to trim that down, but I kind of like that. So if we did this, and we've got this 1/8 inch ribbon too. We could put a nice little bow on here. The chick looks like it's floating. It has wings. They can fly a little bit. Are you saying it should be grounded on something? Because I'm going to put the little spinner on once we decide where to put the spinner. And he's going to twirl. He or she is going to twirl. I'm just kind of playing with this a little bit here. I'll redo the bow just to kind of give us an idea. I love the really narrow ribbons too. So maybe something like that wrapped around there. That'll get cut off. And then maybe our little chickie over here spinning around and a sentiment. What do you think of that? Does that work? Maybe it can fly. That's why it's floating. Exactly. It's going to be spinning in a minute. I wonder if I should make this smaller so that there's just one egg on it. What do you think? We'll cut it kind of right down the middle there. Whoops. Emboss that in white on there. What say you? What do you think? Yay or nay? Because then I don't have to fussy cut any words or anything, that's for sure. Don't want to lose that spinner. If I hold it on there long enough, it'll sink into the paper, I hope, because it's really hard to see. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. Hoo-hoo. All right, here comes the embossing, or the heat gun. It's not like Juju's heat gun. Is that Hank? Does she call hers Hank? I don't remember. Yuda, if you're on here, do you remember what she calls her heat gun? It's industrial. It'll like burn down a house. So when you're doing that on designer series paper, it embosses really quickly because that paper is so thin. So you don't have to hold it real long, and you don't want to overcook. So I think what I want to do is make another layer this size out of white so that it's more sturdy, because I'm going to put this ribbon around it, and I don't want it to fold, right? And because I heated it up, it's got a little bit of warp to the paper. Let's see, I've got 4 inches. And I'm going to cut it just a smidge smaller yet. There we go. I really like that side too. That's fun. But I already embossed on there, so we're going with it. We're going with it. Go. All right, and the white, I didn't get it quite on there straight, so I'm just going to have to trim a little bit of this off here, because I see some of the edge here, and then here. I struggle sometimes getting things lined up when I use the seal, because I'm so used to using the liquid glue, and I probably should have opted for the liquid glue. I just thought I'd do something a little different tonight. All right, so let's put this back around here. Now, I usually have to tie my bows upside down. Don't ask me why. It's probably like my left-handedness, because I don't know what else to suggest. But usually if I tie it upside down, the tails go where I want them to go. And if I tie it right side up, they don't. No, I'm a liar, because it's going sideways. That's one of those nights where I can't quite feel the ribbon either. Let's see what happens going right side up. Now it's probably going to flip. No, I guess that's going to have to, oh, it's loose. All right, I'm going to try my other trick here, where I wrap this around twice, so it doesn't unravel as much. or loose enough, I mean. I'm right. Usually I can get my bows done pretty good. Tonight it's a little bit of a struggle. And even that's a little loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape it on the back and take up the slack because I don't want to fight with it anymore. That's going to have to be good enough because that's all the patience I have for it today. But it's twisted. All right, we're going to force that to be fine because I'm going to put that right over there. All right, so let's put this up on dimensionals. I should have maybe planned ahead what I wanted to do, right? I just wanted to play with the embossing folder. A finished card is just an added bonus, I guess. Let's go ahead and put this down. Ooh, make sure I put on the card the right way. I've done that before where I accidentally put it on the wrong way. Yeah, seal is not very forgiving to me. All right, that's good. And then let's trim those edges down because that's pretty much where that's going to sit. And then our little chickie, this is the one that's got the colored beak. Should I put the second one on? Or just leave it and have the chickie? Maybe just have the chickie going, huh? Two of them or one? I think the chickie would probably look good there with just one. What do you think? And then we could have another something or other over there. Let's do this. Let's do it with one. This on the back of here. Oh, thanks, Rosa. Now, Allie, when you did yours, did you put the big part of the spinner on the bottom or on the top? Did you try it both ways? Do you think it matters? I don't know that it'll matter. Uh-oh, I thought it was supposed to spin all the way around. I wonder if I got glue dots stuck in there. I bet I did. Because I'm thinking that should spin all the way around better. Shouldn't it spin? Put the big one on the top. I was expecting it to spin pretty freely. Did yours spin freely, Allie? Because I saw these used, somebody had used them with the gears set. I don't even remember what that one's called. Let's put the big side on the top. And the little side on the bottom and see what that does. It's a cute idea, but I did expect them to flow a little more freely. I'm trying to see if there's glue dot stuff stuck under the thing. Oh, there might be. A little glue dot got up over the edge. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it looks like I got some glue dot up over the edge. So learn from my mistake. If you get these little things, don't let your glue dot get up inside the mechanism. Has anybody ever had eclair cake? We went out for lunch today with friends of ours, and one of their desserts was eclair cake, and it was quite good. I ate the whole thing. And it reminded me of a recipe that I have. It's a Paula Deen recipe for eclair cake. That's really quite good. If you like eclairs, you might like the eclair cake. Let's try this again and see. No, it's still hung up. Late night Lori obviously was not careful enough doing her little mechanism here. Did you use regular glue dots or like the kit glue dots? Because I kind of thought it would like spin more. Tried liquid glue? Okay. I always worry that the liquid glue on these metal pieces won't work. Let's see. Let us see. All right, liquid glue to the rescue, right? Did you let your dollop settle? Or did you just put it on right away? Whoops. All right, so let's see what else we have. I thought the glue dots would work, but these are probably a little too big. Maybe I should have used glue dots from our kits. And maybe I would have messed it up either way. Ooh, that was close. And I have a cap somewhere for my stamp and seal. There it is. Put it on right away. All right. I'm using your advice. And we'll put the little piece there. And then this I will put on the bigger side. And I'm just going to let it sit so it can dry. And I'll play with it in a minute. All right, so then this one I could make something pretty similar with the ribbon. Maybe a little army of chickadees. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure that out. So that's all I want to do with that one. Let's take a look at a couple of other things because I thought let's do just kind of some fancy cuts. And I may not put them all into cards tonight, but just kind of go through what it might look like. And I'm just going to start with a white base. We could do any color base, but I'm using the this paper, this lovely and beautiful designer series paper that had like these huge floral designs. I had kind of stowed it away. We made a couple of cards with it, I don't know, last week, I think, earlier in the week, I don't remember. But it's got some foiling on it. And I had kind of forgot about it. And my friend Linda called today because she wanted to order some. So I dug it up and thought, oh, let's play with this just a little. So I wanted to take a look at doing just some little fun cuts. So what I did is took a piece that is 4 1/4 by 6, but I'm going to end up cutting it down. And let's move that up out of the way a little bit. So I used this piece, and that's got just the green foliage on the back of it because I thought it was really pretty. Now this is another one that might be fresh freesia or Highland heather. Let's see. Fresh freesia. But you can see where I just put a diagonal cut in here. And then what I also did was I cut a white layer to give this more stability. And we're going to cut a little bit. We'll have to decide. I actually kind of like it like this. So this is going to be a scrap that I can use for another card. And then I'm going to cut this piece to go under here. What a simple little look, right? And then you could still use like a little piece of this, maybe a square, or just some foliage pieces. And I still have some left over. Those look cute. And a little sentiment. All right, so let me trim. I'm going to glue these together. And I'm going to use the glue. I'm not going to use the seal. And I didn't measure anything basically except that layer. So I didn't measure how to make the angle. I just eyeballed it. For a second there, I thought I put glue on the wrong side. Did you see me hesitate? Like, oh no. But nope, I did all right. All right, and there's just a little bit of white here. Now you could also put like a little band of darker color or ribbon across here as well. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this down because we don't need to, we can use that. So if this is 6, I'm just going to cut this in half to 3 inches. I'm going to attach this to the base of the card. So this is just the opposite side, right? That way you can enjoy both sides of your paper on the same card. You don't have to hide it all. And if it's a directional kind of design, just make sure that you're cutting your layer so that it goes in the direction you want. And then this Maybe I want that a little bit shorter. I'm going to cut off about a 1/2 inch. Let's start with 1/2 inch. But I'm going to hang on to that. I like that. That's pretty. It's centered pretty nicely. I think that's good. So what I'm going to do with this then is I'm going to go ahead and put this up on dimensionals just along this edge, I think. Maybe I'll use an adhesive strip. Pretty quiet. Everybody's just intent on watching, huh? Either that or I'm putting everybody to sleep. And I'm just going to glue the rest of this down. Because I just want it to have a little bit of dimension in there. You're crafting along awesome. What are you working on, Rosa? And here's where I'm going to use the wiggle room of the glue. And so I've got a little shadow here. I kind of like that. And I think if we wanted to use I'm trying to think if I want to use some of this or if I kind of like it like that. I think I'm just going to use these foliage pieces just because they're there. And we've got the little bit of darker and the little lighter here. I'm just going to break that off. And I see here where I actually broke this off another time, so I'm just going to cut that edge off so it doesn't look like it was broken off. And now here with these elements, I can put dimensionals on the edges of these leaves because there's no dimensionals here. So Rosa, you're stamping and coloring some critters from the Easter basket set. Fun! All right, so let's go ahead and just flip these over, and I'm going to get some mini dimensionals out. Hello, Robert. I'm not sure what hi, oh, it says hi Lori there, but on one screen it says hi truck. That's weird. Very weird. How are you, Robert? The Easter basket is a very cute bundle. I never used to go for the little crazy fun things like that until we had our granddaughter, of course, because now we have somebody to do all that fun stuff with, all the fun little critters, and she enjoys it. I think we'll do one more, and then we'll just put a little bit of glue down here. We're just making random cards today. No real rhyme or reason. Just cutting paper, gluing it down, and kind of like throwing spitballs at the wall and seeing what sticks. Because sometimes that's the best way to do it. Just be random. Okay, let's take some of these backings off. Yeah, I've actually kept a lot of my little critter ones and saved them kind of like I do with the $1 Million Achiever sets. I kind of collect those as well. because if I ever get my $1 million, I'll be really old for one thing. But I figure I would like to have the inspiration from other people that have made some big achievements. So I just kind of hang on to them. Hello, Lori in Minnesota. Welcome. So I'm just trying to keep these kind of in a cluster because I kind of liked how they were laying at the time. And I'm going to trim this little stem off too because I see that does not have the rest of the stuff. And then maybe a dark piece there would work. Let's get some more Highland Heather ones. I think a little band on the edge of there would be nice, but I also think it might need some texture. What other embossing folder? That's flowers. I don't know that would. That might work. Let's try this one. And when I put it through my embossing machine, I'm just going to do a little bit here because I'm just making an edge. So I'm going to line it up here, and that way I'm not embossing on the entire piece of cardstock. So let's do this. Let's bring out Bossy Bessie. Now this is a 3D embossing folder, so we just need plate number 1 and plate number 4. Okay? The embossing folder goes in between. Anybody who's new, make sure you always put your fold in first. Because if you put the open end in first, you run the risk of breaking your embossing folders. And nobody wants to do that. Look at that. How cute is that? That would make a fun little edged card too. I really like this embossing folder. This is the first time I've used it. That's the Lazy Daisy 3D embossing folder. This, I'm not sure if it's newly coming out, or if it's a pre-order item. I don't remember. I had this grand plan that I've had for years actually, to get my stuff labeled as soon as I get it, whether it's an online exclusive or a pre-order, what catalog it's from. And I do good in spurts. And then it ends. Some might say I shop too much, but I think I shop just enough. All right, so because this is so textured, I'm going to take my cutting blade and I'm going to move it so it's not on an end. I don't want to have it bunch up on that cardstock. So I'm going to just make my pierce there and then go up and down. How pretty is that? That's gorgeous. And then we still have this little piece that we could use as a layer somewhere else. We'll hang on to that. Oh yes, I like this. I like that. And then we'll just angle cut that off of there and we'll stick that little thing back there. Beautiful. I like it. So I'm actually going to put my glue along here because if I put on the back of my paper, that overhang pieces are going to have glue on it, and then I'm going to be a gluey mess. So luckily I stopped myself from doing something rash. A little bit of flower middle there. How cute is that? Love it. Well, this is just like a happy little accident because I didn't plan anything of this card. Nothing at all. So let's just see. How this looks. Beautiful. I like it. So now we just need to figure out some kind of sentiment on here. And maybe put, maybe put it on a little circle or something here. Let's move this leaf. I'm not sure I like it angled like that because I think it kind of belongs this way. There, I like that better. Tanya Smith, you've not been here for a while. Welcome. Let's see if our little chickie moves, but not freely. So I think I probably just have some glue in there, but that's still kind of fun. Anne Percival, welcome. So the other thing is maybe a bow would be good on this as well. But we could color it Highland Heather. So it matches that. What do you think? Let's give it a whirl, see how it looks. And if we don't like it, we don't have to use it. But that embossing folder is just adorable. I'm glad I got that. So this is the 1/8 inch bubble bath ribbon. But it's not bubble bath anymore. It is now Highland Heather. Only use your alcohol blends when you're coloring your ribbons. Okay. Word to the wise. If you use regular markers, if you still have any of those, if they're like a water base, if they're not alcohol based, they will not dry properly and you will have ink carryover. So that's still a little damp. I think I'll take my heat tool and dry that off a little bit. Let's just get our heat tool on setting 1 and dry it off a little bit. So Tanya, Anne, how are you guys? Gals. That ought to work. And then let's get our little bow maker. And I think that would go really good there. And then we need to do just a little sentiment. What a simple card was that, hey? All right, so card number 1. Card number 1A, we'll do a little something there. Maybe have a little chickie peeking out from underneath. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so that's 1A. Card number 2, I'll add some kind of sentiment on there. I haven't decided what yet. And then another idea I had, and I'm going to hang on to this too because we can still use that. A couple of other ideas. We still have some other pieces here that maybe I'll play with those tomorrow. We could make some cute little, I don't know, cute little somethings. Make some kind of little frame here. What do you think of that? That's a little different look, hey? Almost like a little shutter look. It'll look better if I make sure these are all the same size. There's a lot you could do with these little pieces, so we'll hang on to those. But I wanted to do one other cute little fun cut. And let me get another piece of Designer Series paper. Now, with this cut, you excuse me. With this cut, you want to make sure that you like both sides of the paper. I love that. You need to make sure you like both sides of the paper. So let's take a look at this one. So this is that big bold floral, but on this other side, it's got just some really dainty flowers. So I'm gonna get a piece that's like card front size. We'll do 4 inches. I'm just kind of looking to see where the floral design will be. I suppose it doesn't really matter if I flip it over the other way. It's kind of the same. I think I might like this side better though. So I'm gonna do 4. And this is not a new cut. It's not something that I thought of on my own. I have seen other demonstrators use it. So I'm gonna do 5 1/4. And I want to keep that Highland Heather on there. I really like that. That's pretty. All right. And then we're going to cut diagonally. So from corner to corner, you need to put just a corner in the track for your blade at the top and at the bottom. And then I'm taking my blade and I'm moving it down so it's going to pierce in the middle. I don't want to try to start cutting at a corner because it'll crumple my paper, right? And then we're very carefully going to shift it and cut diagonally the other way, corner to corner, and then just make sure that your corners are still matched up. Whether you want to use some kind of tape or a masking paper or some kind of sticky note, whatever works for you. I'm just gonna wing it because that's what I do and hope that I don't ruin it. All right, so we have made, let me move this over here. We have made this, okay? And what we're gonna do is, we're gonna find out what flowers we like, top or bottom or sides. I wanna keep this color, I really like that. So I'm gonna flip these over. And we're going to turn this into almost, it's going to look almost like an envelope kind of card. And you know, if we made this, we could like attach these onto other pieces and tuck them under and make it a flap so that it does kind of make a pouch. If Juju watches the replay, she can figure out how to do that for us. I mean, I could, but she probably knows off the top of her head what she wants. So what color base do you think we should need? And I think I want it this way because those seem like they should be on top. So should we do, I think that might be petal pink. Yep, petal pink or Highland Heather or Old Olive. What do we think? Let me go get some petal pink. And look at that. This was in my petal pink thing. That's pretty big, but putting it like a diamond like that would be kind of fun. All right, so let's do 4 1/4. We're going to score it first so that we only have to score it once and cut it once. And then cut it 5 1/2. We'll save one for later. All right, so these I'm going to put here. And then I'm going to try not to be quite so uncoordinated. You kind of get the idea. It's going to go there. And then we could put a little, that's busy. But that might be pretty. That might be a little much. But if we cut this down, we could put a nice little sentiment on there. Let me get a smaller square. Highland Heather. Let's see if that's in there. We can try Highland Heather, huh? Because this paper actually says it's fresh freesia. You're talking about for the base? It's a little different. Let me get a fresh freesia and we'll take a look. I have to tell you too, for those of you who are demonstrators, watch the weekly updates next week. There is some fun stuff on the horizon for Stampin' Up! That's all I can say. I can't give any hints or anything. Some exciting stuff coming up this year. All right, so let's try the fresh freesia. Because I think the Highland Heather doesn't match well enough. It might look okay from where you're at, but from where I'm at, close and in the true light, it does not work. I think I like it better with the fresh freesia than the petal pink though. What do you think? Because I do really want to draw out that Highland Heather flower cluster there. I think I like it on the Highland Heather better than the petal pink. Agreed? Or disagreed? We could still put this in here to tie that together. Yes, I think the Highland Heather is a better choice for the card base. Good call, Rosa. And then let's see what we want to do as far as a sentiment. What about Hello Spring? If we do a Hello Spring, that can work. White embossing, do you think? Or should I just do the Highland Heather and maybe emboss with clear? What do you think? Tough choice. Let me get the fresh freesia. That's what I should have said. Okay, let's move this over here. White. We can do white. There is, let me clean that off because it lifted up some of my paper, I think. That was kind of weird. Let's clean this off. Hopefully that's not like nails on a scratchboard sound or a chalkboard sound to anybody. I don't know, that was just kind of weird that yeah, it's all bunched up there where it kind of like lifted my paper. We'll do it on the other side. Embossing buddy. Reverse the mark. Oh, reverse the mark again because my thumb kind of touched it in there. All right, let's just set this down. There, I didn't get any lift off that time. Ooh, that's gonna look good, I think. We'll see if it's dark enough. Do not know if that's going to show up enough. Let's cut it out and we'll just see. Because with all this extra paper around it, I think we'll go with the smaller of the two. And I'm going to walk over to my other die cutting machine so I don't have to mess this up. Hang on. Hang on. Cute little frame for a little chickie. I don't know if that's dark enough. Let's try something else here and we'll see how that works. We're going to cut it on a little piece here. And embossing buddy. And Versamark and fresh freesia. So I put the Versamark on the stamp first, and now we're going to add ink to give this a little bit more color. And now we're going to put the white on, because the Versamark is the top ink here because it went on the ink pad first, remember? And then when I flip it over, the Highland Heather goes on the bottom and the Versamark is on top. So let's get rid of this before I do dump it over. I'm just waiting for that to happen. All right, so let's heat this up. So it looks really light now, but once we get that, oh, I didn't use clear, I used white. I needed clear. Hang on, we'll just do this again, because the white doesn't have the right effect. One more time. We'll get it right this time. Get the clear. Clear. Now it'll work. You'll be impressed. Right? Probably not, but let's try it one more time. I can still use that Hello Spring for something else maybe. I don't know. All right, now Hello Spring we're going to clean, because if it's got any of that Highland Heather still, or the fresh freesia rather, if it's still got the fresh freesia on there, I do not want it getting in my Versamark. So let's ink that little puppy up. Let's get our Pearson mat back out. Oh, more ink. And I'm just letting it sink into the paper. And now we'll use clear. It looks like it lifted up some of the paper again. That is just so weird. I think it'll work out though. We'll see. Let's see if this looks better. I'm just going to try to knock a little bit of that off. It's clear, so hopefully it won't matter. But it should really enhance that Highland Heather now. And I may have overheated it just a little bit because it's not as shiny as it should be. But we'll get the idea. We'll see if it looks good enough. And then let's go ahead and get these out of the way. And cut this out. Yep. All right, and I will be right back. Let's get these back lined up here, kind of. Got some embossing powder, I can feel it. And then this will go here. I think that looks better. And then Maybe a couple little spriggies. Like so. I might need a bigger sentiment. I don't know if that's big and bold enough with those big flowers, right? So do you not think that's bright enough? It's way better than the white. I don't know that I would want to use gray. I might be more inclined to use like a garden green or the old olive. But there's no gray in the paper. And I might have to do some different foliage pieces here with old olive so it looks more uniform, more tied together. Yeah, it's definitely better than just the plain white. The plain white's pretty washed out even in person. So let's see if I can get these wrapped up looking impressive and show tomorrow how maybe the finished projects look. Because I might want to add some little foliage pieces like onto that square, aka diamond, and see how that looks, because I think that might enhance it. But I think it's late enough right now. This is going to go on here, and I have to get a sentiment on here. And then we've got our Easter A and B with our little rotating chick. I might have to play with that a little bit more with one. Oh, definitely bling. Definitely some bling. This one spinner might have just gotten ruined with the glue dot in there. So just some different ways to use texture and layers and special cuts of the paper. So easy, right? But it's not stuff that you see all the time. And especially like this embossing folder, you look at it and you think horizontal, vertical, until we cut it and turn it so that it's diagonal. Little twist, right? All right, I am going to call it a night, folks. Thank you for popping in and joining me. I'll clean up some of my stuff, but not all of it, because if I finish these up, I'm going to need some of those supplies. But we have some other fun elements that we can still play with, because we've got this piece that can go on a card. We can do something else with this embossing folder. I really like this embossing folder, so don't be surprised if we see it next time. So with that said, everybody, thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for your suggestions. You are welcome, Rosa. I appreciate you folks coming on here and spending some of your precious hours crafting with me. So until next time, my friends, Allie, thank you. Happy crafting. Lori, I hope you have a good weekend as well. Thank you.